But he found a way it wasn't like a slavery's wrong trial. It was, you guys don't have a receipt trial. It was like, you ain't got the paperwork, go fuck yourselves. So they were free. But he died. He was in the middle of a big impassioned argument. He was yelling and he had a heart attack and he died right there with the whole Congress around him
watching
because people loved that guy.
Yeah.
He was a great guy. He was the first president or former president to ride on a steamship, and he used to ride on the steamships with a blanket over him, and folks would surround him. All the passengers would surround him, and he would just tell stories. He was a great guy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Man, I didn't know any of that.
There's just a part of me that liked Jackson.
Jackson's great, but
and
again, to me, I look at all these guys. I evaluate them as characters. They're all great, amazing characters. They all did awful things,
of course.
Yeah,
but. Obama fucking bombed, fucking weddings.
Obama.
But yes, Jackson was a crazy but shrewd. A great thing about Jackson was that his inaugural party in the White House.
Yeah,
this is wild.
They
stormed the Capitol.
He invited everybody. That's exactly right.
He
invited everyone. He said anyone that wants can come. No invitation needed. It's the people's house. And the house was crammed with common people getting drunk, stealing shit, and they wouldn't leave. And there's a honor code in the White House. You don't ask someone to leave. You don't ever throw anybody out. So they couldn't get them. Like days went by where people are shitting on the floor and raiding the fucking pantry and just fucking people and whatever.
What?
And so what they did was they got huge kegs of beer and they put them on the lawn. And they said, "Hey, come out. Let's drink under the stars. Let's have, And they invited them out for beer on the lawn, and they all came outside and they locked the doors. That was how he was a people's president.
Yeah,
like
he was the first populist
in his
first guy. Yeah,
first one to appeal to the common person. Yeah. There was an author, English guy. I read his biography of him, and they have one account of an English traveling writer who would write travel logs. And he was in Washington and he thought, what is it like? Can you meet the president? And he just walked. There wasn't a fence around the house.
People just could walk in. And
so
see
he
him.
just walked to the front door and he knocked on the door. And a butler came to the door and said hello. And he said, I'd like to meet the president. And he's like, is he expecting you? He goes, no. And the butler's like, all right, well, come in and sit down. And he went in. The guy waited like 20 minutes. And Jackson came out of his office, which was like full of people, and he said, I'm in a pretty important, like, who are you?
Yeah.
And he said, I just wanted to meet you and say hi. And he was like, all right, can you wait an hour? And he's like, sure. So he went and whatever, fucking signed a thing to kill all the Indians.
Yeah.
And then he came and had sandwiches brought, and he sat with the guy and just talked to him for an hour.
Damn.
He also he was the first president, I think, to ride on a train. He took a train. He was the first one to do this, that he went all over the country.
Yeah.
He went up to Maine. Presidents never travel. He was the first guy to do that. Like, he thought people should see the president. People should have contact with the president.
The Trail of Tears, he flubbed that one.
Yeah,
flubbed. He nailed
was a bit of a flub. He did do exactly what his goal was.
What he tried to do. You fucking flubbed.
That was a bit of a flub.
He was not. He didn't make mistakes.
I looked it up. I don't know if they had slaves.
Yeah.
The fucking dudes on the Trail of Tears, they were like, we got to bring our slaves.
If slaves are available, folks get slaves. That's just the way that goes.
I couldn't believe it.
But when he was
peaceful
natives. Yeah, that's what the part you don't hear is like the Indians are like, you know what he did to us and what he did to our slaves was even worse.
Our slaves had it real bad on the Trail of Tears.
I mean, tell me about it.
Yeah, but didn't they like share everything with their slaves though?
I don't know. Yeah, they were way better.
It was
they were like real peaceful.
It was egalitarian, dude.
They were some of those good slave owners. The natives.
There is some story from some big chief went to the White House to meet with Jackson, because Jackson was very honest. He didn't underhand ever. He didn't play politics. He did horrible things, but he just went ahead and did them. Like, there was a slave revolt during his presidency where they took over a fort. The slaves took over a fort and just said, we just want out. We just want to be taken to the north or Canada or whatever. And so he just got a bunch of cannons and just lit the whole place up. Killed them.
Bombed them.
He didn't fucking care. So some famous like a name you'd recognize. It wasn't like Sitting Bull, but it was some big. All of the Indians, all the tribes chose this guy.
Yeah.
To negotiate with Jackson, and he went and talked to Jackson, just the two of them, and he came out crying and said,
What?
We're not.
Like, we're in trouble.
Yeah, he says we're not. This is gonna go bad.
Oh,
this is gonna go bad.
No.
He just had his way of thinking about how it was gonna go. He's like, no, we got to clear these guys out of here.
Also in line with Trump, he was like, this is where the term mudslinging starts.
Yeah.
It was him and John Quincy. Their election or their debates and shit was. He would just talk. They would talk shit. There would be nasty rumors in the papers.
Whatever it took.
Yeah.
Whatever it took. No,
Yeah.
I remember. I have a friend who's a Trump guy who I've known for a long time. I'm not going to say that his name is Nick DiPaolo. But knowing Nick has always given me some insight into the mentality of that kind of guy. Not just Trump, but guys like Jackson. I remember once I was with Nick and a lot of people, and he was and like three Democrats were yelling at him, and he was starting to say crazy fucked up things to them. And at one point I'm like, Nick, you know that's wrong. And he goes, it's 3 against 1. Like what do you want me to do? Like he's in and it gave me and then it brought me back to when I was like 19 and I was friends with Nick, and we were comedians in Boston. And there was a pinball machine we really liked playing at this one club. So we're playing pinball against each other. And when it was my turn, I was starting to beat his score. And he just put his hand over my hand so I couldn't flip. And he just looked at me like this. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, I win. I win. I don't care.
But he Jackson, was big too.
Jackson was, yes. Jackson was the first. Yeah, he was a football player. Yeah. College football player. Jackson was the first president to go like, fuck you, I'm winning. I'm winning this. I don't care what happens to you. We're gonna, you know.
So he also, one of the big things with Jackson, he vetoed more bills than every president before him combined.
Nice.
He hated the banks. He like went to war.
It's crazy that he's on the 20.
Yeah.
It's like a joke because he hated the idea of a central bank. He hated the idea of a treasury. He thought that it should just be folks have their money, use gold, and you trade. And he wanted.
So I think the U.S. bank at the time, I think it was called the United States, like the Bank of the United States, was up for to be renewed. Mm-hmm. And he just happened to be the president, and he vetoed it.
Yeah, and it was a thing you don't veto.
You can't veto it.
No, but
he vetoed it. So then the next guy, we'll get to him, is his vice president, Van Buren. He takes over. Mm-hmm. He takes over a completely destroyed economy. Because he vetoed the bank.
That's the way it goes. The cool guys. America is made of cowboys and nerds. So you got cowboys who show off and who show what kind of people we are, and then you have nerds who actually get things done. But the cowboys get the credits. Yeah. And then nerds get fucked every time.
He got fucked. His nickname was Van Ruin.
Yes, he had a lot of nicknames.
They were like,
Old Kinderhook. He was another total nerd, and everybody hated Van Buren. He was like a little fucking...
Yeah. He was supposed to be, I think, he was one of those vice presidents that was supposed to be a link. Like, because Jackson was the man in the South, kind of, or wherever, and they were like, let's get this dork to...
He was from Kinderhook,
Pence.
New York.
He was his Pence.
Yeah.
He was Trump's Pence.
Yeah.
He was... The legend is that, he was one of the first people to have... pamphlets, like a lot of pamphlets, like the press, like the mass press started to get big. So his pamphlet was, because he was called Old Kinderhook because he's from Kinderhook, New York. So his thing was OK, and it was a check mark.
Oh, nice.
And that's where people say that OK comes from.
What?
Yeah.
Because it was like his thing was OK with a check mark. That was the point. It was like vote for Old Kinderhook.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When you look into this, that's where all of our shit comes from.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's all of this. All right. Well, you got to speed up because this one's funny. Van Buren sucked, whatever.
Yeah,
Here comes Harrison. He's the next guy. Everybody called him Old Granny because he was too much of a geezer to run. So on his inauguration, he was like, I'm going to prove to everyone how tough I am.
Yeah.
It was freezing cold and raining. He had like an 8,000 word inauguration.
Yeah.
He got a pneumonia and died.
He died. He was like a few months.
He died immediately. Like
shortest term.
Damn.
Shortest term.
Didn't have a minute of acting as president.
Trying to prove he was tough.
Got sick the first day.
Died immediately.
And died a few months later.
What?
Yep.
Buried G.
That brings us to Tyler. He did nothing.
Tyler was
His
general,
party
right?
abandoned him.
No,
Oh,
I'm thinking of Taylor.
He was Harrison's vice president. So
Oh, he
Harrison
stepped in.
dies. The one thing he did do is set the precedent that the vice president stays as president.
Nice.
So everyone was like, "What? We don't know what to do here. The president's never died. Do you take over as an interim guy until we find a new guy?" And he was like, "No, I'm just the president."
I'm the president.
And enough that his party hated him for that. So his own party abandoned him. They didn't
Why?
put him up for re-election.
Well, because they thought they should
wanted to
choose another guy.
They wanted to be able to put
a
another
stronger guy.
Yeah. So he stayed. He had no parties supported him. He got nothing done. He was never up for re-election
It
again.
must have been awkward.
That brings us to our guy, though. This is who I wanted to get to. Polk, dude. Turns out Polk's the man.
Really?
Yeah.
I know nothing about Polk.
No.
He was one term because he was a dark horse out of nowhere, and he promised everybody in his party, "I'll only do one term. That way, some of you guys that are good, that are getting ready, you can take over. I promise to do one term." When he was running, his opponent's slogan was, "Who is James K. Polk?" Like, people were talking shit. As soon as he got in, oh, this is good. He was a tiny guy. He was 5'8", which was like,
That's really small.
yeah, he was 5'8", and when he got in, his wife was the one who came up with, they got to play Hail to the Chief every time you come in a room to give you some respect.
Give him a little,
Yeah, so that's why that happens.
Nice.
So right away, Polk starts going
But it was
wild.
kind of a joke. It's like if a midget walked in.
Yeah, like,
Everybody goes, it's just a little guy.
No, Polk's a beast. Immediately, he starts fucking with the British about Oregon. So they have the Oregon Territory
yeah.
out there, which is just beaver hunting. Everybody's, beaver hunting. We're doing a little bit of
What do
that
you
in
mean?
Nash Vegas.
What do you mean?
It means trying to get pussy.
About pussies.
Hunting in Oregon for
They were in Oregon,
pussy.
Oregon, pussy hunting. So the British were pussy hunting. The British and Americans were both pussy hunting on the same territory. And Polk was like, "Nah, we're done with that." And he set the latitude and longitude was 54 and 40. So he came out with the slogan 54 and 40 or fight. He was saying that to the British. He was like, "We're going
It's
to
very
fuck you
catchy.
guys up."
True.
So he came out with that. And the British,
People were really into
They loved
latitudes
slogans.
and longitudes.
They
back
were.
then.
so he called that. And the British were afraid to call his bluff. They were just like, "Fine, take
They're
it."
like, that slogan is so good.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh,
just
dude.
take it.
Fuck, dude,
54.
this guy's
Dude,
nuts.
you came up with the fucking. You used the longitude and latitude.
So he takes that territory, which is huge. And then it's not just Oregon, it's Washington, all that.
you know why Oregon is Portland is called Portland?
Mm.
I bet you I do.
It was kind of. Do you?
No, it's not.
It was going to be Boston
What?
because the two guys. Is it Lewis and Clark that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of them is
That
from
was Jefferson. Give
One of
him
them is
credit on
from
that.
Boston, and one of them is from Portland, Maine. And they both wanted to name it after their hometown.
Oh.
And they flipped a coin
Huh.
and named it Portland. And there is a Boston in Oregon.
Hmm.
There's a town called Boston in Oregon. Anyway, go on.
So after he gets
I know.
Oregon,
Yeah.
he's like, "All right, it's time for me to get Texas."
Mhm.
He starts fucking with the Mexicans. Like, say they would send troops down just to see if the Mexicans would shoot first.
Mhm.
Finally, they did. He
Fucking
immediately,
lazy Mexicans.
finally, they shot
so
a bunch
many
of
times
He-
to get off their fucking frijoles and fire a shot.
So they go to war.
Here they come again. I don't want to fire.
He
I'm too
fired
busy
the lads.
drinking
Probably one of them was like-
tequila.
70,000 troops poured in.
Oh no.
So we immediately took California, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Texas.
And
This
then
is all
who was
Polk
the
in
general?
4 years.
Who was the general that penetrated all the way to Mexico City? This is later, right?
This was the next guy who was Zachary Taylor.
Yeah, Zachary Taylor was
Zachary
the big
Taylor.
Mexican American war
Yeah,
guy.
he was the warrior.
what?
Zachary Taylor was dominating.
So they
but this is-
gathered-
He went into Mexico City, and if you go to in Mexico City, the big thing is Los Niños. These six, I think it's 4 or 6 kids. So they stormed. They went all the way to Mexico City, and the citadel, the Chapultepec, the palace. The army was so decimated that it was finally just the cadets of the military school were the only ones
Yikes.
defending the capital, and they were just 4 kids firing on the American army is just coming. And they wrapped themselves in Mexican flags and jumped and dove and killed themselves. That was how they ended the
pretty
war.
awesome.
And the moment is Zachary Taylor was holding one of them and he was saying they were just kids. Like he had no idea they were like fucking 12, 15 years
Oh
old.
man.
And in Chapultepec, there's 4 big pillars that are still they're like war heroes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
What did Mexico have back then? Was it like a king or like
a lot
what
of they. Oh well, they had So the what was going on all these years, Napoleon assumed that the South would win the Civil War eventually. That the South, that there would be Europe always bet on the South because the South was a aristocratic America. It was about plantations and old families, and that's a European. And they loved Europe in the South. The North was always against Europe and wanting to start something new. So during the Civil War. So Maximilian was just a Habsburg. But the way kings worked back then, there were some royalty factories. So the Habsburg family, who I think were like Flemish or whatever the fuck, they just had like a cousin of a king. They went Maximilian and his wife. They're like, you guys take Mexico. So Napoleon sent French troops to Mexico and installed Maximilian, but then
which is what Cinco de Mayo is.
Yes, and then the Mexicans finally overran because when we lost the Civil War, when we lost the Civil War, I don't know what made me say that. No, when the South lost the Civil War, Napoleon was like, all right, fuck this.
Well, wait, Napoleon was gone for this.
Or whoever the French pulled their well, there was like 3 Napoleons.
Oh, true.
Right.
I think it was a later Napoleon.
Wow. Yes.
Pulled support.
Yeah.
And Maximilian, they beheaded him.
Fuck.
They fed peyote to his wife and sent her home. And there's some little village somewhere in like the Netherlands where they tell you like she's going to come get you because she would run in the streets. She went insane. She would run the streets screaming. And they tell kids if you don't get to sleep because she comes out at night. If you don't go to sleep, she's going to come get you. So that's how far in Mexico.
Dude,
I'm sorry to derail you, but so
that's great.
Zachary, so you were still at Polk and then Taylor.
Polk, but still. So one thing that was cool was when Polk was instigating this war with Mexico.
You got to cut that part where I say we lost.
No, that's good.
Cut that. I don't know what
you
made me say
corrected
that.
it immediately. This is pretty sick. So Polk was up there like they're fucking with us. They shot at our troops. An old one-term senator from Illinois at the time stood up and said, "Were we on their territory when we shot him?" There was one guy that was opposed to the Mexican-American War, a guy by the name of Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
Abraham Lincoln.
And people were like, "Hey, shut up, pussy."
Yeah, dude.
We're trying to take Texas. Shut the fuck
He's
up.
like, you guys, were we? I'm like, shh.
Yeah,
He was like, sorry.
I think this was wrong. They're like, anyway, that's why Polk's kind of the man. He added 1/3 of the entire United States in a 4-year term.
Damn.
Pretty good. Well, in territory.
I know, but still,
It's like those big
Yeah, but you got
states.
Texas and California.
And they were just
That's
sitting on
probably
the
half our population.
good.
true. And they were sitting on
I
the
wish
border.
he hadn't added them, especially Texas.